This is New York Comic Con 2016, and I'm here with Comics Verse.
Hi, I'm Ms. Jamie Rice, and you are watching Comics Verse. I'm here with prolific artist Bob McLeod of New Mutants fame. How are you doing today, Bob?
Very good. Glad to be here.
So I wanted to start with talking about a little bit of your New Mutants work. It's some of my favorite work, and I was wondering what your vision was when you and Chris started working on this book. What were your goals?
Well, we wanted to go back to the original idea of the X-Men, which was a group of teenage superheroes, and make it a little bit more multicultural. Instead of having just all white guys, we tried to get some different ethnic characters, and I liked drawing girls, so I wanted more girls in the group than guys, which at the time was kind of different. I didn't know of any other group of superheroes that had more females than males. So I thought that was cool. And then the idea was to put them in school uniforms because they were still in Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. So we thought school uniforms would be a good idea. And also the original X-Men had kind of a uniform that was, pretty good for a school uniform. So we grabbed that.
So going back to the diverse cast of characters, how did the background of each of those characters influence the way you did their character design?
Probably I went a little too stereotypical because we were very rushed, didn't have a lot of time to think too much about it. So Native American for Danny Moonstar, just my quick impression of what an Indian character might look like. I wanted her to be athletic. Figured she'd be running around the woods, and so I made her kind of tall and lean. And then Cannonball was a coal miner. I thought of him like a hillbilly, so I wanted him to look kind of awkward and uncomfortable with his body at that point as a teenager, So gave him the big ears and the just looking a little awkward. Roberto was a feisty little guy, so I just tried to make him someone that looked like they had attitude. Yeah. And then Rain Sinclair was, I thought of her as just an innocent, kind of just embarrassed to be noticed.
So New Mutants came out in '83, and since then you've been doing tons of work. So how have you seen the industry change over the course of those 30 years, and where do you think it's going maybe in the next 10?
It's interesting. I think it changes just about every decade. I've been in it since the 70s, and every decade has been a little different from the one before in various ways. Of course, when computers, digital comics came in, it revolutionized a lot of different things, kind of got rid of hand lettering, and with the digital coloring, changed the look of the books. I don't know. I'm a little surprised at the how well they're doing just lately, which I guess is due to the movies. Yeah. A lot of young kids now are seeing them in the movies and checking out the comics. Because for a while I thought it was all going to go into digital comics, web comics, and maybe the print comics would be just a little tiny thing for a subculture hardcore fans. But maybe that's not the way it's going to go. Maybe they're going to stay fairly mainstream for the foreseeable future, and we're in for kind of a regrowth of the industry for a while.
Do you have any theories about why you think the print has stayed around and didn't just go out with the digital wave?
I mean, I'm from an older generation where we just like to have a physical thing in our hands. I know a lot of my students, I was teaching for a while, a lot of my young students are all about the digital stuff and reading their iPads and iPhones, and they don't have a problem with having just digital art with nothing on paper. So I don't know what's keeping print around. I mean, to me, I like having something I can hold in my hand. But maybe there's a lot of other people like that still. I don't know.
So I know you've worked on tons of other titles with Marvel and DC, some of the big ones. Are there any ones that you never got a chance to work on that you've always wanted to give your take?
Well, I never got a chance to pencil Batman, DC character. I just, for whatever reason, I was on other books. I inked Batman for a year or two, but I never got around to penciling him, and I thought I could have done a good job on Batman. I'm mainly just a figure artist. I like drawing figures. The character's secondary to me. So I just, I was happy doing pretty much whatever I was working on.
So with the New Mutants movie coming out, is there anything in particular you're particularly excited to see manifested on the screen that you got to work on in the past?
Yeah, sure. I'm thrilled from what I've heard about the movie so far. It sounds like they're going to be using my characters. There's a whole lot of New Mutants that were introduced after I left the book, which they could have gone in a direction like that. So it sounds like they're going to do the movie that I would want to see. So I'm very excited about it. Can't wait to see how it works out. I'm just hoping that they use young actors, teenage actors, ideally, for the characters instead of getting people in their mid-20s to play young teenagers, which is what they usually do. I hope they get a Native American actress for Danny and, a Hispanic Brazilian actor for Roberto and that kind of thing.
And so lastly, do you have anything new coming out soon that you would like people to be watching out for?
Not really. I just did a variant cover for Marvel. They're doing this thing. I don't know if I'm supposed to give it away, but they're kind of doing a lot of classic covers in a different way. And I did one of my classic New Mutants graphic novel cover. It's a variation on it. So just finished that last week, and that'll be out, I guess, relatively soon. Mostly now I just do commissions for fans and occasional covers for Marvel. So.
Thank you very much, Bob.
All right, thank you.
You have been watching ComicsVerse. Make sure to check us out on comicsverse.com as well as all of our social medias. Bye!